I'm Lindsay Maloney, and this is the Book Your Dream Clients podcast. I built a 6-figure coaching business while raising my 3 babies and working a 9-to-5, and I'm here to help you break free from the hustle mentality that's been holding you back from reaching your full potential so you can know your worth, step into your own power, and of course, book your dream clients. On today's episode, we're chatting with Alaina, and we are going all in when it comes to self-care for the entrepreneur. Alaina is the CSO of Swanwick Blue Light Blocker Glasses, and we chat a lot about how important sleep is for an entrepreneur, rest, and self-care. Alaina is giving us so many great tips, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Alaina, thank you so much for being on the Book Your Dream Clients podcast. I've been so excited to have you on.
Oh, thank you, Lindsay. I'm super excited to be here.
I first saw your picture and I was like, oh, those are interesting glasses. And then I looked and, oh, she's the CSO of a blue light blocking glasses company. And I want to talk about how you started this whole adventure. You have so much history.
So I have an interesting start. I actually started this whole online adventure back when my oldest, who is 15 and a half years old, was just a wee baby, and we had moved from a little tiny town to just outside of Pittsburgh, PA. So cost of living went up, and it was just like, oh, great. And I was having my next child, and I really wanted to continue staying home. So I knew we had to do something. And so I first started looking into ways that I could just save in expenses. Like, that's like the first thing to look at, whenever you're just like, okay, we need to be able to afford this. What can we cut out? And I started looking into cloth diapers, and I got so excited about them, because that's just me. Whenever I get into something, like, I get in 110%. I'm like, these are awesome. I love them. I need to share them with the world, even though most of the world already knew about it, except for the United States. And so I actually started selling cloth diapers, and I started building a business around organic children's products. And I joined in on this business and learning expo. And I got to hear people like Mari Smith and different people like that who are huge now. I mean, she's the queen of Facebook, speak at this little teeny tiny expo. And I learned about blogging and WordPress. And again, I get into things 110%. So I started teaching myself HTML and CSS and coding my own websites, and had so many people start coming to me and saying, how do you do this? Like, how did you do that? How did you do that? And I'm like, okay, I can't keep selling cloth diapers, because I have too many people coming and asking questions. I was spending all day long answering Facebook messages and emails about how I was selling cloth diapers. I couldn't even sell them. And so I ended up stopping that business, and I went into blogging full time. And I worked with brands and different companies. And then I had people saying, like, okay, what you did for your company, can you now do for my company? I'm like, okay, sure. And totally just going with the flow. And I ended up working with a good friend with his company, and it was a family-owned company, building that up. And then he left that company and started with Swanwick, and he was at Swanwick, and he was like, Alaina, we need you over here. You want to come over here? I'm like, sure. I know nothing about blue light blocking glasses or why people need them, but let's do it. And so I, again, jumped in 110%, learned everything about it, which some of the stuff you learn about blue light, completely scary. But, and now it's gone full circle, because while I'm working with Swanwick, I'm also working with the original co-founder of Business and Learning that I got my start at this expo, where I learned and had a catalyst for what I do now. I'm now working with her again, and we are relaunching that.
Wow. You have such an amazing history. And I love that you said, I just went with the flow. And your business is probably 100% different than it was when you first started. Obviously, you
Mhm.
don't sell diapers anymore. You just went with it, something that was calling towards you. And I think that's so important to know for everyone who is trying to get their business off the ground and they're just struggling and doing all the things, and they think they need to have this perfect idea and this perfect plan, but you're just proof of so much, that just start. If something's pulling at you, just go with it and see where it goes. It's gonna evolve, which is what it's supposed to do. So thank you for sharing that with us. So tell me about what you're doing now with these blue light glasses. I have a pair of blue light blockers, and I have to admit I don't use them as much as I probably should. But let's just talk about that. We see them online. We see like all the cute girls on Instagram like doing their advertisements of them. But do we really know? I don't really know. What is the purpose of them and why do we need them?
Yeah, so I love to use the example, and I think a lot of people, they understand we used to live in a different time. When we would get up when the rooster crowed, and we would go to bed shortly after sunset. And if we were up outside of those times, we were using candles. And we didn't have all the things that we have now, distracting us, like telephones and tablets and televisions and the lights throughout our house. Most people, have electricity, and it's a different world. And like I said, I didn't know anything about blue light, and now it's like, okay, once you've seen, once you heard, you can't undo that. And learning about how blue light just, it kills the cells in your eyes, how it's triggering your brain to stay awake, so it's really hard to fall asleep. You're not producing the melatonin that you need to go to sleep and to stay asleep. The quality of your sleep is just bleh. And I've since learned how important sleep is as a mom. We're all about our kids taking their naps and getting to bed, and you need, 8 hours of sleep because we know that you're gonna be a monster tomorrow
Mm.
if you don't. But have we ever looked at ourselves? Have we ever looked at, okay, oh, I had these extra 10 pounds that I just can't get off? Well, are we getting enough sleep? When was the last time you checked your Fitbit tracker and looked at the sleep quality? I looked at it the other day. I was like, oh, wow. What have I been doing? Because it's like in the 60s. I can do so much better than that. And I'm only getting 4 hours of sleep. Well, we need our sleep. It's really important. And we also need to protect our eyes, because the devices, when they're emitting this blue light, it's killing the cells in our eyes, and it's leading to early blindness and different troubles. The rate of people that are needing prescription glasses have gone up, and it's just, yeah, it's just one of those things that you're just like, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And now that
Mm-hmm.
you know it, you're like, okay, I need to make this important. So my kids are homeschooled, and so when they are on devices, I'm like, put your Swannies on. If we do a family movie night, it is with your Swannies on.
Mm.
If I'm working, like you, I'm up a lot of times while it's still dark out, and I'm sitting there, you know doing my personal time, and then getting into work, and then I'm on the computer or my phone, 10, 12 hours a day, a lot of times probably longer. I'm just not willing to admit it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you wonder why I'm getting these headaches, and why I'm drained, and I don't have the energy to focus on my business like I should.
Okay, I love all of this information. I already have like a bunch of notes. I think that it's best to tap into right now. My audience, they're probably working on their business a lot. Like you said, it's probably more than they want to admit. And it's not just, looking at the computer or your laptop. It's like you're looking at your computer, and then while you're waiting for something, you grab your phone. So your eyes are just constantly going back and forth to
Mm-hmm.
these screens. And you think, well, I don't have bad eyes, and it's like surfacey concerns. What are some red flags for the listeners that they need to pay attention to how their eyes are feeling so they can get more sleep? Like you said, they're having more headaches. What are some other things that they can maybe take a look into?
Yeah, so a few things. If the eyes are tired or dry or watery, so one extreme or the other, the eyes are watering. It, it's sometimes you really don't notice it until you actually say, okay, I'm going to pay attention to this today. So just paying attention to it while you're doing, say, your time study of what you're focusing on during the day. Also write down how you're feeling. Are you feeling strain in between your shoulder blades? Is your neck tired? Does your head feel heavy? Do your eyes feel heavy? Do you feel like you have a tension headache, but it's not quite enough yet for some pain reliever? Are you finding that when you do look away from your device and you say, when you're sitting at your desk and you look across the room, does it take a moment or two for your eyes to kind of focus? Those are some different things where you're starting to get some digital eye strain. And the other thing too, which a lot of people don't realize until they look at an external thing. So a lot of us wear a smart device on our wrist. So your Apple Watch, your Fitbit, and they all have a sleep tracker. And if you look at that and actually look at the quality of your sleep, the length of your sleep, how much were you tossing and turning, those little indicators can let you know that you just didn't have enough natural hormones flowing through your body to get you asleep, keep you asleep, and get you into those deep sleep cycles so you actually can wake up and you're like, all right, I am ready for today.
Love it. I have just started tracking my sleep maybe about a month ago, and I noticed that if I work at night, sometimes, I mean, we're all guilty of it. Like the kids are in bed, I'm gonna quick sneak and get a half hour in, which I haven't been doing, which brings me to my point. My quality of sleep, I had so many red spikes in it when I was doing that. And then when I decided, instead of working, I'm gonna work out before bed, and there's zero red lines in my sleep tracker. So that makes a huge difference if you like to have that visual proof. And another thing that I noticed the other day, we have long hours in front of the computer sometimes. I still work a 9 to 5, so I have a lot of screen time. And I notice a lot if I have a really long day and I'm waiting for my kids to come home from school, it takes me a couple minutes to get my eyes focused to even look outside. Like they're so sensitive to the sun and the brightness because you've just been like staring at this screen for so long. And I think that's really important. I think it's, we might think it's my eyes are just tired. I think it goes deeper than that. Do you agree?
It absolutely goes deeper than that. I we came out with our day lens, the day 20s, after I had started. So I was wearing the ones that you saw with like the orange lens.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wearing them a lot. And I have to say, like, they really helped with the headaches. But then once we launched the day lens and I started wearing those during the daytime, I noticed a huge, huge difference from the days that I wore them to the days that I didn't. In that I didn't have those periods where I'm just like, okay, what am I looking at? Hold on, I gotta blink like
Mm-hmm.
10
Mm-hmm.
times before I can even see. Or I would notice that I had better quality of work. I was able to focus more. I wasn't taking those times where to rub my eyes or where I was like, okay, I really need to like look around. The
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
2020 rule, every 20 minutes for 20 seconds, look 20 feet away. Um, so I was doing that a lot, and I noticed that I could actually work for a good 40 minutes and then I could take a 20-minute break for myself, and I had so much more work done.
Mm.
Um, so it does really change your productivity.
So if it changes your productivity, another perk is when we're resting, did you find that it was improving your sleep quality as well?
Absolutely. I can tell you exactly what days I did not wear my 20s. I can look at my Fitbit. I'm like, nope, right there, 4 hours of
Wow.
sleep. I know exactly what days that I may have left them at home and was out working or something. So it's, yeah, I can really tell. And I can usually tell like at the end of the day too, where I'm just like, oh, I didn't get anything done and oh, I need to stay up. And um, the other thing too that I find is just this may sound completely out there, but I've noticed it, and I've noticed it with a few of my friends that utilize blue light blocking glasses, is that the days that I'm just like, I'm putting my glasses on, I'm working, that I actually take more time for myself. So just like you, where you're making sure you have that self-care sometime
Mm-hmm.
throughout the day, it was those days, like as I was conscious of it, I was taking the time out for myself,
Mm-hmm.
reading a book or going outside and just standing there, letting the sunlight, absorb
Mm-hmm.
into my skin, or going for a walk, or just drinking a cup of tea and doing nothing. No
Mm-hmm.
reading, no talking, just sitting and taking deep breaths and just letting it all out. Like that became a priority once I started with these silly little glasses of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to now it transitioned into more and taking care of myself more, which then you can take care of your business more, you can
Mm-hmm.
take care of your partner more, you can take care of your family more. And it then cycles all back around to your business is doing so much better and you're doing so much better.
Oh, so good. I remember hearing that, years ago when I first started, if you do less in your business, you spend more time taking care of yourself. I thought that sounds so weird. Why would we spend less time working and more time with ourselves? And I ignored that for a long time because I think a lot of us have that instilled in our brain that the more we do, the more results we get. But that's just not true. And I love that you took like you said, I just had this pair of glasses and it led to so many other things like just reading and breathing and being out in the sun and doing these things that physically aren't pushing our business forward, but they actually are in a really strong, in a subconscious way. And I love that you're voicing that because you're giving people permission to not have to sit in front of their computer and just hammer away. Like the word hustle, I cannot stand that word. I don't think it's sustainable. So I think that when we use little tricks like this, like it's not even a trick, it's for your health. Use these glasses because you'll probably spend less time in front of the computer because you're actually getting something done more efficiently. And as entrepreneurs, when we can be more efficient, that means we're working less. And that's really important. And then the whole rest thing, getting more rest for your business is such a great example to set for people. So what are your thoughts when you hear the word hustle and do all the things for your business and you're like, no, I just kind of want to go stand outside and sit in the sun. What are your thoughts with the word hustle?
Oh, I used to be that word. I really was. And I recently started working with a self-love coach, Tracy Lee, and she has changed my opinion on that. And I was ingrained in that. I was completely ingrained in that I needed to put 16 hours a day into my business, and if I wasn't completely um ignoring my kids and household and everything else and putting everything into this business, then I wasn't hustling. I wasn't doing enough and I would never amount to anything. And then it was like, no, no, you don't, because she changed my thought on that. Um and I love to give this example because I haven't quite reached it yet because I'm still trying to change my way of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but I can see the beauty in it. So she was working with her accountant and business advisor, and they're just saying, okay, so what age do you want to retire? So let's figure out, what do you need to live at that age? And she's like, retire? What's that? Today's Monday and I went to a matinee movie. Like, so what does retirement look like? Because I'm living it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living it now. And she has a successful business, but yet on a Monday, she went to a movie. On a Thursday, decided last minute, hey, let's go for a bike ride. completely just went with the flow, but yet she has clients coming to her every day. She still runs a successful business. She puts in the time that she needs, but the difference with it is it's quality time. It's quality time that she's putting into her business. She's not drained. She's not tapped out. Her creativity isn't just like flowing down the toilet because she has invested in herself. So now she can do this business. So now I'm learning that. And it's a hard habit to break when we have been taught all of our lives that you need to be working from sun up to sundown. And if you're not, you're going to amount to nothing. It's a really hard pill to swallow, but it's like, once you've seen the Matrix, you can't unseen it, So once you realize that, no, I can put in a good quality 4 hours, and now I can go and take my son out, and we can go shopping, and we can go and spend time together, and we can laugh and enjoy it. And I don't have to feel guilty. I don't have to feel guilty.
The guilt is something that so many of us, I think probably the moms, bigger than anything, the mompreneurs out there, the guilt of sitting in your office. And just think how much better it would be to have a good, like you said, 4 hours. I would love to have 4 hours a day to work on my business, but most of the time it's 2. And I built my business on nap times, and I was okay with it. I didn't subscribe to the thought process that you have to be doing all of this stuff all day long to go forward. And the turning point for me, just like you and just like your coach, was when I stopped doing so much and just really focused on what I need to do to push my business forward. And then the number one thing in this whole equation is you. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your family, you can't take care of your students, you can't take care of your clients, and you definitely can't take care of your business. So using little tools like this, the blue light blocking glasses, all of those things, the self-care, stepping outside for a minute, reading, these have nothing to do with action towards your business, again, on the surface, but these little things are going to make such a huge difference in the longevity of it.
Absolutely. And I love, as soon as you said you built your business on nap times, it was like, oh, right, there's a book.
Right.
Right, there's a book, Lindsay. Right there. and it is a beautiful thing. And to know that others do it and it's okay is wonderful. It's sustainable.
It's sustainable.
Yeah. It's I can see the hustle, like, a day or two before a quick launch. Yeah. That's definitely, you can do that. You can say, hey, family, I've got something that's launching in 24 hours. I need to put my everything in here to just double check everything. But yeah, you can't do it long term. You can't.
No, you can't, because there's you have teenagers and kids, and I have little kids, and we're the most important things for them right now. So how do we want them to remember us? If they had to draw a picture of what we do, I think that's always something that I am very conscious of. I want them to know that I'm here for them, number one. And my business is not the first thing in my life. Being present as a mom. And if you don't have a family, being present for yourself, that's so much more important than social media following, website traffic, subscribers. You're so much more important than all of those numbers. And I think that is something we need to keep in mind when we tie ourselves up into results and numbers. Then we lose track of who we are and what we need. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love to think about, if I were to lose everything, followers, clients, email, newsletter, let it build up. If I were to lose everything, but I still had myself and I still had my family, it would be okay, because I still have my knowledge. I can always build it all up again. But what's the important thing? What's the important thing? And it's really hard sometimes to think about that, because, again, ingrained in us, well, without the business, then I can't support my family. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, yeah, you can. It's all going to work out the way that it's supposed to. And, you know, checking at 11:30 at night, how many people opened up the email that you sent out at 7 a.m. Is it
Mm-hmm.
really that important? No, it's not. It's not. The people who were meant to open it and read it, they got it. They opened it. It's okay. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we can't control any of that anyway, so we don't need to be obsessing about it. That's for sure. So such a great conversation. I would like to wrap it up by just talking about some tips for entrepreneurs. What can they do? Some just little tips to improve their sleep so they can be a better business owner the next morning. What are some things we can do tonight before we go to bed?
All right. So I'm going to actually start with morning, because
Perfect.
this is one thing that people don't realize and they don't do. So the very first thing in the morning, I know you get up while it's still dark out, so you'd have to wait to do this. But the very first thing in the morning is get outside. And I don't care where you live. It doesn't matter if you're in a cold climate. If it's super cold, go to a window that is facing the sun and just go there and take a few breaths. If you live in a climate where it's warm out or it's summertime, go outside, walk around on the grass, spread your arms wide, stretch out, take some deep, deep breaths, allow the sun to just kind of warm your skin, and start your morning out with that. The natural sunlight, it triggers our brains to be awake, that it's the start of the day, that getting into the earth with our feet, it grounds us, it renews us, it connects us back to, to our beginning. And it's a great way to start. And it's part of that self-care habit. Even if it's only 5 minutes, that is 5 minutes that you just invested in yourself. And then wear your day blue light blocking glasses throughout the day while you're on the computer, making sure that you take breaks. If you are on the computer 24/7, whether you're in your cubicle or you're at home or you're in a co-working space, if you need to, set reminders on your phone to remind you every hour or so to take a break. If that means getting up and going to the water cooler to fill your water bottle, then do that. If that means going outside again and walking around, if that means just going and hugging your kids if they're home, or just standing up and doing some stretches and some breathing, then do that. When it's nighttime, I usually put my night swannies on about or around supper time, because I do have a lot of late night meetings. So I like to have them on before then. And I wear my night swannies so they're blocking all the blue light. So when it is time to go to bed, I can. And before I go to bed, I'm not really good at this, but I'm trying more. But I like to unplug the actual router in the house, like completely unplug it and put my phone on airplane mode or turn it off, either one. That way, then the temptation of, oh, just one more email, isn't there, because I have no way to connect.
Mm.
So putting those physical boundaries there to prevent yourself from connecting. The other thing is we don't have a television in our bedroom. And we try to completely eliminate that. So reading a book, an actual paper book that you physically turn the page. Some people may not know how to still do that, but you physically turn the page. You don't hit a button to turn the page or swipe. But, having something in your hands, a lot of people like to spend that time crafting, crochet, knitting, or coloring, or even just, writing in your journal and reflecting on the day and just sharing your wins and your personal thoughts and allowing yourself to take the thoughts that are in the head and release them, and having a routine about it. Some people like to, do a self-care routine of washing their face and applying serum and or for guys, sometimes it may be working out or whatever it may be. Find your thing. Find your thing that can help you relax. Take a bath, drink a cup of tea. And then you start it all over the next day. And now you're starting to build a habit of putting yourself first all throughout the day. So now you're going to build yourself up to be that better person. You're going to see your sleep quality improve, and you're also going to see the quality of what you can put out into the world improve too.
Those were amazing tips, and I'm not perfect on all of them, but I love how you said just make it your own, do it feels right for you. And I love that. I love every single one of them. And I live in North Dakota, so I'll go stand by the window in the morning. I won't go outside, but I love that because the sun is, I feel like so connected with the sun too. I love when I wait for the bus to come in the morning and standing by the door, and that's when like the sun is beating like right over us, and it just feels so good. And it feels good to just close your eyes and bask in it. And I love that tip. I love all of your tips, so thank you so much for sharing them with us.
Thank you. I was happy to share them, and it's a nice reminder for myself today to do the same things and to put myself first.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're all so very important, and doing just little things, just even trying one and doing it for a week and then adding something else. You don't have to do everything at one time, but just doing little things, creating that snowball effect, like we talked about in the beginning, is going to be so beneficial for you and your health and your family, your business, everything that you touch. So thank you again, Alaina, this was such a great conversation. I think we should all reach out to Alaina on Instagram and share with her how much we loved this podcast episode. Go check out those blue light blocker glasses. I know I will be. And we're going to put all of Alaina's links in the show notes. And Alaina, thank you so much for being here with us. You were so amazing, and I absolutely love chatting with you.
Thank you, Lindsay. I love talking to you too.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Book Your Dream Clients podcast. I am so grateful for you, and I want to be sure you are a part of my free community. Go to dreamclientcommunity.com and join our free Facebook group. We have all kinds of cool things happening every single day, so don't miss out. Also, if you love downloading freebies, check out my freebie vault on my website by going to lindsaymaloney.com, selecting freebie vault, and there you can download all the things that will help you start and scale your coaching business. And if you're feeling extra generous, be sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode.